South FFL, are you ready for your weekly analysis? Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. Let me pull up mine. Okay. Welcome everybody back to your weekly South FFL podcast. This is going to be your weekly analysis, as always. I'm joined by your usual not Ryan, sorry, your usual Adam, and then the special guest from last week. He's joining us again this week, Braxton. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Didn't have the craziest fantasy performance last week, but I think the state of my team has significantly improved, so I'm feeling pretty good, I'll be honest.
I'm still winless, so
The only one.
Oh no,
Not
yeah,
looking
the
good.
only team not looking good. Well, do you want to get right into it? Which matchup do you guys want to see first?
Mine and Ryan's at the top of my screen,
Sure.
so we can go
Okay.
right into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into that.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about your team this week, Ryan? Or Adam?
Yeah, no, you're good, man. You're good. It wasn't the craziest week. I was a little disappointed in Justin Jefferson, but I took him my first round pick for a reason. I'm not really too worried about him. But overall, I feel pretty good. I think, the 49ers look maybe slightly better with Jimmy G, like in terms of, like fantasy. Look slightly better with him, and even though they lost and my guys didn't go crazy or anything, but they were playing a tough Denver defense. So I feel
Right.
pretty good about them. Cam Akers definitely got a lot more work. I was very excited until he fumbled at the goal line, so he might be on the chopping block again. We'll see how that works out. But the reason I don't really care about that too much is because of the bench that I've got right now, which are going to be my
Outscored your starters.
Yeah, they outscored my starters. But like Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert, as long as DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery are hurt, they're gonna be top guys. I think they're running back 7 and 8 right now in the league. So that was a big question about my team was my running back situation. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I have any holes on my team anymore. I think my team feels pretty deep. I don't think I have the highest boom potential in the league. I think there's teams that have much higher boom than me, but I definitely think I have a pretty deep team now that can withstand a lot, and I feel very confident with it. Even though I only scored 97.8, but I think Justin Jefferson has better weeks ahead. It's just
So does Debo.
Yeah, same for Debo. I think both of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and George Kittle.
And Kittle, yeah.
Yeah, like dude, like I'm feeling pretty good. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it looks like a solid win. He had some underperformers. Cooper Kupp putting up half of what his average is, but looks like your Cam Akers took over the role from Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the fumble at the goal line that still has me iffy on him. If he had scored the touchdown right there, I'd be all in. But he fumbled at the goal line, and so I'll just have to see how they respond to that. And because like Sean McVay had said earlier that he has to make the most of his opportunities, and he clearly didn't by doing that. So we'll see.
I didn't watch the game, but Darrell Henderson only had 4 carries, which is surprising.
Yeah, I think Cam Akers just started playing very well, and they ran with him.
He was just coming back from that injury, so maybe they're slowly getting him into the offense or something. But
yeah, and so I have time to see, how that works out. But I'm feeling pretty good.
Solid win.
Yeah, I think you definitely overcame the problem that you had with the running backs. Like looking at your bench right now, you definitely have 2 players that outscored your starting running backs positions. So I think going forward, I think that should be like you should feel a little better about your team.
Yeah, I think it could potentially be temporary. I think DeAndre Swift's problem though is that he's kind of small and made out of glass, so Jamal Williams could continue to be the guy there, and then
he's getting the most red zone.
Exactly, he might just be a vulture at the very least, and
the Lions have a wonderful offense, so that could lead to some good fantasy points.
And then Khalil Herbert could potentially retain his value because he's played better than David Montgomery does, and I think he fits better in that system. So we'll see how that works. But if it's a split backfield, I'll be a little wary of that.
Khalil should definitely get more touches, even if David Montgomery's there. But should be something to keep watching.
Yeah.
And Amari Cooper too. He's looked a lot better than I thought he was.
Dude, me too. Jacoby Brissett made me nervous.
Yeah, for sure. So there was one thing you were talking to us earlier today, Adam, about there was something you wanted to bring up in the podcast. So share that a little bit?
Yeah, so this isn't really for this week. It's not really relevant to it. But, next week, because of the way my players are performing, the way the matchups are, there's the consideration in my mind of benching Justin Jefferson, who's my number one pick, because the matchups are so good for the next week. And I feel like I'm crazy for considering, and I'll probably never actually do it. But the way the matchups are, it just seems like, at the end of the week, I may have wished I benched Justin Jefferson.
Man, you got to start your stars, though. Right when you bench him, he's going to pop off for 30
points.
That's
true.
Again,
yeah, no, I'll never live it down. Everyone
you just got to figure out. Yeah, you got to figure out what's worse: starting him getting no points, or having him on your bench as a first-round pick.
Oh, it's 100%. 100% the latter is worse for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get into Ryan's team a little bit.
Dropping to 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think what we thought the issue with Ryan's team would be still is the issue, and the fact that he has a massive hole at running back. A.J. Dillon was playing Tampa, and they are a good defense. So, he may have better games ahead. That is for certain. But he's always going to have the issue because Aaron Jones isn't a bad back. One of them's going to pop off, and the other one may, struggle because of it. You never really know what's going to happen. And then Darrell Henderson, as you mentioned earlier, didn't get the work that Cam Akers was getting. And so Ryan may be needing to look for a more viable option, which, I think Travis Etienne could potentially be that. James Robinson is super good right now, so he's always going to be second fiddle to him, I think, in my personal opinion. But, Jaguars' offense has actually looked pretty good this year so far. But they were playing a banged-up Chargers team, so we'll see if this, persists. And then, Ryan had -6 from his defense. I think that gives you a very bad look because, let's say, you get the average, like 6-7 points from your defense. He would have put up, 86, which isn't great, but I feel like it's not that bad of a line. And, Kyler was playing the Rams. I think that's probably a pretty good defense. They can get pressure going a lot. And so, I wouldn't be too worried about that. Partially the matchups just weren't in Ryan's favor this week, I don't think.
Yeah. Another thing is he's got Mike Williams, Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, and Chris Godwin. So that maybe he tries to move one of those guys packaged with the running back to upgrade that position. But then again, everyone needs running backs. So
yeah, you definitely try that.
But we don't trade too much, but we'll see.
Yeah. Plus this year, I was talking to Adam earlier, that this year is a year of receivers. There's not a lot of good running backs, that we can either pick up or trade.
There's not.
You're
feeling pretty good about yourself.
Another thing with Ryan's team, I feel like, Mike Williams, he only had one reception. I think it's mainly because of the play calling. That's one thing. And another thing was, I think Justin Herbert still feels a little bit, of his injury. And there were plays where Mike Williams was running, downfield. Justin has the arm strength and the vision to throw it to him, but he didn't, because I still feel like, the injury still plays a part in that too.
Definitely.
I'd say playing with fractured rib cartilage is probably pretty difficult.
They should.
Yeah, for sure. And then, the Chargers, like you guys said, the Chargers are banged up really bad in the defense and the offense.
Yeah, Rashawn Slater got hurt.
Yeah, that hurt. And Joey Bosa too. He's getting a surgery right now on his groin, so that hurts our defense a little bit. But next week, we're going to be starting with Chris Rump in place of Joey Bosa. So I think that'll be a little better. We get to see his debut, or not really debut because he played last week too. But we'll get to see like a little better, like how he would start off the game. And another thing is, I think Kyler Murray. If you guys don't realize this. Call of Duty beta was this past weekend. This man looked like he wanted to go home early for this beta. I don't know.
I think Kyler will still be good for fantasy. He'll have better weeks.
Oh yeah, I think
Cardinals
he'll have better
week.
weeks for sure.
Yeah,
he threw it 58. He threw it 58 times. That's gonna, if they keep up with the offense like that, and D Hop and Rondale Moore come back, I think he'll be a lot better than what he's been these first 3 games.
Yeah, he'll be.
I mean, he wasn't even bad week 1 or
no.
He hasn't even been bad
at all.
But
no, he's like number 8, I think.
Yeah, like he's not been bad by any means. I think Ryan went 0 RB though, so he definitely needs a better performance than the 16.5. I was looking. But Ryan has. Does Ryan still have 19 Hines on his team, or is he on the waiver?
He does.
No, he dropped him.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he dropped him.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Doesn't Jonathan Taylor have like a toe injury right now or something?
Yeah, I think it's just precautionary though.
Okay.
I just saw something about how it was just bugging him, but he's expected to be full go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to move on to the next matchup? Who do you have on your list?
It's Colin and Justin. If one of you guys want to take the lead on that.
Oh,
man.
Justin's team. I've been telling you guys this.
It went from bad to worse, didn't it?
Yes.
They were good last week.
It definitely did.
But
they were good last week.
Or 2 weeks ago.
But that's
new. Was it week 1 that he was having all those troubles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Week 2 they did.
It was week good. 1, and week 2 he kind of popped off.
Aaron
Jones
shot like 30 week 2 or something.
Yeah, and then Jalen Waddle had 34 points from week 2. Yeah, so I think Justin's team, like we have said before, I think I'm not very high on his team. Definitely, I like Jalen Waddle. That's one of the players I like, and I know I've been telling you this, Adam, and like the other people that in the group message, but Tom Brady needs to stay retired this year. I feel like his defense is the only thing holding the Tampa Bay back in the.
You have to remember though, it's like
conversation.
He's got no weapons right now. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were out for last game. Julio was out for last game.
That's true.
Yeah,
he's got nobody. He played against the Packers, a wonderful defense. If we get those players back, on his schedule is Kansas City, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Carolina.
Justin
he could do something there.
He doesn't look so hot lately.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Yeah, I think Tom will probably be fine once he gets all his weapons back. They're too loaded for him not to be good.
And it's kind of classic Aaron Jones too, isn't it? He's putting up single digits, and all of a sudden he'll pop off like he did week 2 for 30.
Yeah, that was my problem I had with him the past 2 years. Him getting popping off 1 week, the next 3 weeks he's dropping single digits, and then that's just really ruins my experience.
Yeah. And he's got David Montgomery with an injury too.
I think everyone pops off against Chicago though, so.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Except Trey Lance.
Oh, true.
Oh, except Trey Lance.
It's raining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you guys want to move on to Colin's team?
I feel like I can dog Justin a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We had said Alvin Kamara we thought we were gonna have brighter days, but the offense has not looked so good. I don't know. They seem like they're not making the best decisions, and Alvin hasn't looked like the Alvin of old. So I feel like that's quite worrisome. And then Gabe Davis, I think he'll probably be fine, right? Just because that offense passes so much, but he's gonna be inconsistent. Josh Allen his main guy is Stephon Diggs, and everybody else is gonna fall in line somewhere behind that. So you never know quite who they're gonna use.
Some questions with Justin's team to me, it's like, at what point do you drop Allen Robinson? Because I mean, I guess you can hold. I think it's getting dangerously close. But another thing is Antonio Gibson and Jeff Wilson. It's got to be going through his mind. It's like, wow, do I have to start one of those guys? And I'm guessing he will in that flex spot this week. But I mean, the way Alvin's looked, it's like you'd hate to bench him. But Antonio Gibson hasn't put up less than 10 points so far.
Yeah, but I don't know how much it'll affect him. But when Brian Robinson comes back,
when is he projected to get back?
I have no idea, if I'm being fully honest. I mean, look it up real quick.
Is he on the injury reserve?
I mean, he is. So probably.
So I was reading today that it's at least 4 weeks, right, before they can come back. Yeah. So I think there's a good chance he might come back week 5. I don't know though.
Yeah, this has no timetable, so I don't know what that means. Or I know what it means, but Antonio Gibson's also very reliant on them getting a goal line touchdown because he's not been that efficient. With that said, I mean, he played Philly last week and they're a good defense, but I don't really consider Detroit to be that good of a defense. I think Dalvin Cook just, I know he's really good, but he was very efficient against them this last week, right? If I'm not incorrect, and then he's pretty average against Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was average. He's average, yeah.
And so I wouldn't have a lot of confidence starting Antonio Gibson if I'm being honest.
I'm a fan of Antonio Gibson. I know he's had his fumble issues and everything, but I mean, he gets the touchdowns. He's pretty inefficient, of course, but I mean.
The other problem is that they play from behind a lot.
Yeah.
So if you drop the run game, I feel like, I don't know, there's a chance there's games where he gets very little carries or doesn't get the opportunities because they're playing from behind.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, Justin's team, I feel like they could, sometimes boom, but they're probably going to be very inconsistent this year, and it's going to be a long one. A lot of long Sundays for him. But yeah, you can move on to Colin's team if you want, Leo.
Yeah, I mean, with Colin's team, I'm just looking at it now. We were so high on his team, and I'm still very high on Colin's team, but I think his players will have better days. I was reading something about fantasy football analysts talk about picking up Samaje Perine, and I'm not sure what's the problem with that. I mean, Joe Mixon's still healthy, isn't he?
Yeah, he sucked last week though. Let's see, confirming. He had an ankle injury, but it says it's minor.
Full participant. Yeah.
Okay.
But he sucked last week and the week before. Actually, he sucked all 3 weeks. He's not being very efficient.
He's averaging 2.8 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like he put up a lot of points.
I think that's that Bengals offensive line, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to be really good, but
they spent $73 million on them.
Yeah.
73, that's the number?
On their offensive line, and they're not looking so good.
Yeah, so I know there was a thing I talked about earlier, or not this, today, but in the past where, like, the pass rush is allowed, right? And the Bengals allow the most, the most pressure on their quarterback of any team. And so I would assume, the running probably isn't much better.
No.
When you're allowing that much pressure to get off on, the offense.
Yeah, and there's another thing that we talked about earlier, Adam, about running backs averaging 17 points a game.
Oh, yeah.
And Colin's got one of those players on his team in James Robinson, so I think his team is still, he's got very, very strong team. Like, he's got a very strong core on his team.
Yeah.
And his players are pretty consistent for the most part. So I feel like, at the end of the day, I'm still very high on Colin's team.
I think something that's worth noting is in a week where Leonard Fournette and Joe Mixon, weren't their best, he still put up 107.
Right.
Eagles defense did put him up 17, so, he's not going to get that every single week. you're not going to get washed.
Josh Allen putting you up 30 a week is definitely going to help boost your team.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen could probably put near 30 pretty consistently, though.
Yeah, he's been very consistent for the most part. I think even with Miami defense, who's supposed to be really good this year, they still dropped 30 points.
So. And with his running backs underperforming, it does help having James Robinson.
I wouldn't say Miami's defense is really good. They allowed the Ravens to score like 45 on them, giving -8 last week.
I mean, it's the Ravens.
So I wouldn't say really good. That might be an overstatement.
Yeah. I got you.
But like if they're playing a bad team, sure they'll smoke them.
Another thing is Michael Thomas.
Yeah, he got injured.
Yeah, he got injured, and I feel like I don't know. Jameis is starting to look like a Buccaneers Jameis a little bit.
He's taking shots downfield.
He's getting them picked. So
Buccaneers Jameis threw 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards.
Yeah, he's good for fantasy players, but not so good for himself or team wins.
Right.
So
exactly.
Oh yeah. No.
I'm here for it because I've got Chris Olave. So more deep targets, please.
Yeah. If I was calling, I honestly wouldn't be. I feel like his team's fine.
I think his team is fine, to be honest with you.
Still scored 107. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. With his arguably some of the better players on his team scoring very, very low points.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be fine. Joe Mixon and Leonard Fournette are going to definitely turn it around, I think.
Yeah.
And when D-Hop comes back, I feel I don't know. Kyler Murray really likes Marquise Brown.
He does. He had 17 targets last week. They were all under, though, which means that's kind of the D-Hop route tree.
Yeah, and D-Hop it's not like he's injured or anything, he's coming off PED, so he might be even stronger.
Yeah,
he could be even better. And he's got fresh legs and more muscle.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they were doing him a favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think good. We move on to the next game. If you want.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you have?
Christian and my dad.
Christian and Michael.
Man, Austin Eckler, rough.
Austin Eckler, let me vouch for him a little bit here. I think it's definitely the play calling. I don't know what it is they're doing, but they're not running this man enough.
He had 4 carries.
Yeah, exactly. Last year and the year before, he was a stud. Austin Eckler was a stud, and now we see him. Joe Lombardi he just has to grow some bigger pairs, I think, and run the ball a little bit. I don't know. Something has to change. Because look, I understand that you're down a lot of points, and I don't know, you're still putting up your QB out there to get injured, but you're not running the ball to your star running back. You're running it to your third string running back, which is Sony Michel. I don't understand what's going on here.
Receptions usually produce, on average, I can't remember what the stat was, but it was like a certain higher percentage than a rush for a running back. And like last week, 10 targets. This week, 8 targets. He should be producing more, but
he should be producing more. I agree. I don't know what they're doing with the Chargers play calling, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you,
they're not being as aggressive as they used to be.
If he does not perform good next week, I'll start to be, or I guess this week
against Houston.
Yeah.
Look what Khalil Herbert just did. Put up 30 fantasy points.
157 yards rushing on 20 carries. If he can't produce against them, I would start to hit the panic button for sure.
I didn't watch the Chargers game, but looking at the stats, his snap percentage is not very high.
It's not. They put Sony Michel in, dude. They put more of Sony Michel in for some reason.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not very good. The Chargers need to be more aggressive. Last season, they were going on fourth down almost every single time. But this season, I've only seen once or twice. It may have been more. I don't remember, but it's very little. That's my point.
Yeah, another thing on his team, DJ Moore, very underwhelming.
Okay,
they got Baker throwing to him.
Baker Mayfield
on that team.
Baker Mayfield is the plague. Okay, he's going wherever he's going, he's causing the trouble. I don't know. I'm not big on Baker. I hate this man. I even tweeted it twice. telling him to get out. Just get out of the NFL. I don't know.
I saw you post on your
does.
Instagram too. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yes, he needs
Wait,
to get
Leo,
out.
do you have Christian McCaffrey? Is that why you're saying this?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
I have Christian McCaffrey. Yes, prom. This man, oh my
Let's
God.
say.
Every single time I turn away and then look back, I see Baker Mayfield like overthrowing his receivers. And that's I don't know, man. It's 3rd and 10.
It's got to be
overthrowing
infuriating.
It's very infuriating. Yeah. McCaffrey got things going very early with his rushing yards, and then you see Baker Mayfield overthrowing his receivers, not being able to convert 3rd downs, not being able to convert, getting 1st downs. That's the biggest problem I have with this guy.
Yeah, I think that definitely is unfortunate. But one of the positive things to look at is CeeDee Lamb, still produce at a pretty high level.
Even with the drop pass too.
With the drop touchdown, he very well could have had like almost 30. If he had
his target share is, I think, 1 or 2 in the league. He's had over 10 targets all 3 games.
He's had
one of 2 guys to
11.
Oh yeah, over 11.
Yeah.
I think there's one other player that's had, I think it's over 10 in first 3 weeks. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but yeah, CD, I think he looks fine with
straight up
Cooper
could have
Rush.
been Curtis Samuel. That man's got so many targets.
It might be Christian Kirk.
Could be Christian Kirk.
What do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers dropping 18 points for the 2nd consecutive week?
I think they're playing Tampa, which is a tough defense, and
they played the Bears the 2nd week though.
Yeah, that's true. I'd say this week I'm based off Tampa, but dropping 18 on the Bears is not the best performance in the world, especially when you say that you own them. But they were running very well that game. Aaron Jones had like 30 points, and A.J. Dillon had a lot too. So I feel like it wasn't really necessary for him to throw the ball a lot. But he also doesn't really have that many weapons. I think he's still trying to find that. And I still respect Aaron Rodgers a lot as a quarterback, even if he's crazy.
I don't think you bench him.
No, there's no way.
Especially for Marcus Mariota or Justin Fields on his bench. So
no, there's no way. I mean, not to the guy that's completed 11 passes.
Nah.
Mariota could potentially. That hasn't been horrible.
He's got the rushing upside for sure.
Yeah, I think the upside of Aaron Rodgers is just too high not to start him every single week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could drop you 40 any given week.
Yeah,
he won't lose you the week.
Yeah,
sure.
I haven't really been tracking what Michael has been doing lately, like with his team, but we all know that his team is an auto draft team, right? I don't know what he's doing to fix that though.
I'll tell you
in the waiver wire.
I've talked to him, and he has forgotten about.
Oh no!
He didn't. He has forgotten both Tuesdays to put in his claim. And so he missed out on these big guys like Jeff Wilson and Curtis Samuel that were the week 1, like the guys you wanted to get, right? So he has Russell Gage on his team, so if a lot of those guys stay out, maybe he'll play good again. Because Tom Brady clearly liked throwing him the ball.
J.K. Dobbins is going to be more in the offense too, so.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins will, and that's debatably the best offense in the NFL. Having any player on one of the best, he has Devin Singletary too, which is probably the other best offense in the NFL. So he very well could play those guys if he really needs to, and probably get something out of them.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not sure if I completely trust Devin Singletary because he's had one pop off week, and the other weeks are like he's running good, but they're just not feeding him the ball.
He's getting sub 10 carries a week. It'd be hard. He had this. I think this week might be an outlier for his receptions, getting 9 receptions. I think it's a little bit of an outlier, but
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's an auto drafted team. It's not going to be the best in the world.
Right, and he's not, like you said, he's been missing out on the waiver claims and all that too.
Yeah, it's only
and bad luck with Dalton Schultz. So
DJ Moore too. Yeah. But move on to Christian's team.
Undefeated. All I do is win. Jalen Hurts, man. I think he's playing really, really good this year.
He's the best stack in the league.
Yeah, He does.
It's scary. I'm going up
AJ
against him this
Brown.
next week. I do not want to face that stack.
Oh, you are going against him. But the thing is, here's a positive. I think Dalvin Cook is going to sit out.
Yeah, I've got Alexander Madison too, so that's kind of nice going up against him this week. Potentially could start him.
Is he for sure sitting out?
He has dislocated shoulder. I just feel like it's hard to imagine you play immediately off of it.
Last year he did the same thing. It's been a recurring injury. He missed one game, came back, and had, I think, his best game of the season, which was interesting.
Am I playing him after? I don't know. Let me see. I am playing him after you.
Wow. Sorry, Leo.
That's not a good look.
In that one.
Yeah, last year, whenever he dislocated it, he missed one game. He came back and had 27 carries, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
You gotta look forward to.
Jesus. Well, here's the thing with Christian's team. There are players with potential, like, to pop off, like Drake London, AJ Brown, obviously Jalen Hurts, and then, like we just said, Dalvin Cook's coming back. If I was Christian, I wouldn't be worried. Would you guys be worried?
No.
He's got the
3-0.
He's got the 3-0 blanket too. If Dalvin Cook misses a week or two, it's like he started off with some wins. He can afford some losses.
Yeah. I'd say,
and his team is solid, so maybe he won't even get losses. But
I'd say Javonte not performing at I don't know, like fantasy wise the level that you would want. Just because you're dealing with oh my gosh, Melvin Gordon on that team also, and he put up 9 points on Houston week 2. San Francisco's a pretty decent defense. He's just not the guy that you took in the one to take in the second round. I don't think.
He still could get more of that workload through the second half of the year, but I mean he's getting enough work to produce. Like he had 15 carries in the past 2 games. At least 4 receptions in the past 2 games too, or targets.
Yeah, I mean 15 carries is definitely enough to put up numbers.
It's almost just like Kareem Hunt, for instance. It's like they get enough touches to where it'd be hard to bench those players for anyone else.
Yeah,
right. But here's the thing, though. I was very, very hyped up about Javonte Williams. I thought for sure he was going to fall to me, like I've said the past few weeks that we've been on the pod. I don't know, man. I feel like he still has the potential to pop off at some point of the season.
Who'd you end up taking at your second, Leo?
I think it was Nick Chubb.
Oh,
which was a better choice.
I mean, you should be feeling very good. He didn't fall to you then, right? Because Nick Chubb is.
Yeah, but I was very high on this guy too.
But Nick Chubb's the best you're back in the league right now. So, fantasy wise. I don't know what you want to say football-wise, but
yeah. So we talked about his receiver. Yeah. So we talked about his receiver, AJ Brown, being like a nasty stack with Jalen Hurts. What do you guys think about Deontay Johnson?
He's a target hog. He's wonderful for PPR.
Right.
Even with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Do you think Mitch Trubisky is gonna stay with the starting job for long?
Or he's had 10 targets every single week.
I just don't even think it matters. I think Deontay's such a good receiver. The only thing that you're worried about is him, like what Adam said, being made of glass and getting injured. But if he's in, he's demanding targets, so he's going to put up fantasy points. Yeah. I think the A.J. Brown and Deontay Johnson as your receivers are wonderful. Drake London's your flex.
I think
even after George Pickens the catch, you think he'd still be a viable like?
Oh, he's the best.
I think so.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson's the best receiver on that team. But here's the thing: he's made out of glass, and I think he'll end up getting hurt, right? But for Christian's team, his team has enough depth where it's not the biggest deal. He could play DK Metcalf, if he really needed to. There's Drake London there, Christian is fine.
Or Jahan Dotson or something.
I don't trust that as much, but he's a potential boom play.
Yeah. I will say that Christian contacted me about obtaining Alexander Madison for some security from Dalvin Cook, but definitely have to wait until after I play him this week to consider that trade.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he will consider the trade after this week, though. That's the thing.
Oh, he said he wants the security.
Yeah, he'll definitely still take the trade, and the reason why is Dalvin Cook is notoriously misses games. I think he averages 4 missed games per year. It's like it's a matter of when with him, So Christian would want that security.
And it could be now. He just dislocated his shoulder, so
yeah. And so you're just preparing for the worst. And Christian has probably some guys that Braxton would be willing to give up a backup running back for.
Maybe even quarterback, but having troubles with Russell Wilson. So
true.
Definitely work something out.
Yeah, you have to maybe do. I don't know. He's Jared Goff. That's a pretty good offense. I don't know if you want Jared Goff though.
It's had I think 7 touchdown passes so far through 3 weeks. Not terrible.
That's pretty good. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, definitely not terrible for golf. Do you guys want to move on to the next matchup? Who do we have?
We got your team and Herman's.
Okay, like I've said earlier to Adam today, I was very fortunate that Erman's team underperformed and my team performed well enough to beat Erman. Justin Herbert, he's injured, and I was literally praying for this man to drop at least 15 points, and he did, because I was losing to Erman by like quite a few at the moment, and then Justin Field came in to fill the hole for me, and I feel like I was very fortunate for that. And CMC, I told you guys about this. Baker Mayfield is my biggest problem with this guy.
Didn't McCaffrey pop up on the injury report today?
He did. He's been popping up on injury reports every week though. The first week was his shin. He was bleeding because somebody's cleats hit him or something like that. And then the second week was something else.
It says a minor injury, and he rests every Wednesday. So
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not anything to worry about.
Injury-wise, at the moment, I'm not worried about Christian McCaffrey that much. The only thing I'm worried about is his quarterback, and that's a pretty big problem at the moment.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, I texted Ryan. I don't know if I texted you guys, but I texted Ryan for sure saying Donovan Peoples-Jones should not have tackled Nick Chubb. That one big play he had, he was about to go even further. There's no way he's getting a touchdown because they had, defenders ready to tackle him, but he should not have stopped him that early. I feel like, it was an accident, but I get it, but I don't know, man. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown rolled his ankle the first half into the game, and then he came back the second half. Still recorded some 6 receptions. I'm not too worried about him, but in the case that he has to sit out this week, then I'm screwed. That's when I'm screwed.
Is Keenan back?
Keenan's back for sure, yeah. But who's going to be my wide receiver too? I can definitely not rely on
playing Rashad Perryman again, Leo.
Hell no, dude. Rashad Perryman. Look at this man. He's got 3.9 points.
And another thing is, can you even rely on Allen Lazard at this point? He's got lucky with touchdowns
too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a minor
practice
ankle injury
on Wednesday.
Yeah, he's got a minor ankle injury.
Okay, he should be fine.
He's been getting lucky, 2 touchdowns in the past 2 weeks, but does that stay?
Yeah, happening? He's been recording a touchdown for every game he's played this year, which is 2. Yeah, I think that could keep happening. I'm hoping. I don't know because Romeo Doubs is coming up as the wide receiver 1, right?
It looks like it from last week.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude.
I'll be honest with you, Leo. I think you're fine because your team's playing you're dealing with a lot of injury right now, honestly. And your team is still performing pretty well with the injuries you have. Something happens to one of your running backs. God have mercy on your soul.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing too.
But I think your big boom guys are good enough to keep you afloat. I think you have a really good team. If they get healthy, then you probably have one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league.
His injuries, your injuries seem like they're not major things, and just like Christian, you're 3-0, so you can afford to drop a game, and you guys come back healthy, you should be okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And then I think Jameson Williams is supposed to come back either week 5 or week 6. So I don't know how that will play out with Amon-Ra, but we'll see. I might have to start running both of them.
I said it week 1. I'll say it. Keep saying it.
You think
he's the guy on that team.
The Sun God?
Mm-hmm. He's their guy.
Yeah.
I think if anything, Jameson Williams, he might take a target or two, but he's probably gonna take targets from the other guys on the team who are giving him stuff too.
Yeah, it'll probably be like DJ Shark.
He also has come back from ACL injury, so they may try to work him in.
Yeah, that'll be a thing to look for sure. But I do want to say this though. I was very, very lucky. I was able to choose and play the players that will produce the most points on my team on the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Which
now you should play Geno Smith over Justin Herbert.
Well, yeah, except for that. I don't know.
I don't think you'd ever do that, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever do that. No. We can move on to Erman's team. Do you guys have anything else to say about my team?
He's got to fix that RB2.
I do.
No, he's
not. He does.
No, he does.
You mean
Erman,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. You got Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Actually,
Another thing is
Nick Chubb's better right now.
Yeah, Nick Chubb's better. I was very lucky too that Tyreek Hill was not targeted as many times as he did last week. I was very, very lucky about that.
Well, yeah, Tua was playing with a concussion. You couldn't tell which one was Tyreek.
Also, lucky he didn't put in Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae, he balled out this week. So you guys think it's actually a concussion with Tua?
100%.
Oh, definitely.
He couldn't stand.
He couldn't even walk straight.
Yeah, I don't think
he's questionable for this Thursday.
Yeah, I think Devontae is a random hypothetical play though that he never would have actually done. Just because Tyreek and T. Higgins and Rashad Bateman all played really good last week, and there's really no reason for him not to play them again.
Yeah,
the same thing like I Khalil Herbert and Jamal Williams on my bench with crazy points. Maybe Jamal Williams made sense as a play. But, there's no world where I ever played the backup running back on a team, over guys I thought were going to start.
I don't know. Rashad Bateman is so, boom or bust, and he's boomed in the first 2 weeks. He's not getting that many receptions at all. He's just having some little house calls, which, it'd be hard to bench him after that and seeing what Lamar does.
Put up 13, 18, And then Devontae Smith put up 0 and 11.5. So
he's going to have a tough decision for next week, though. Figuring out who he wants to start.
Yeah, I think you play Devontae over Rashad Bateman. But both offenses are so good,
Yeah.
Either one of them is probably a fine play. There's the whole RB2, like you were saying. That's going to hurt him until Elijah Mitchell comes back. But even then, Elijah Mitchell is one of those players who's also made out of glass. So
I'm also noticing that he also does not have a single running back on his bench, so he's got 2 running backs.
Yes,
I don't know if he's just put in some waiver claims. Yeah, I don't know if he just hasn't put in any waiver claims in, or if he's missed out on a few.
Honestly, I don't think there's any good running backs right now on the waiver.
Man, there's got to be something better than Jarrett McKinnon, right?
He could make plays. He could pick up Chuba Hubbard or something, or just.
Naeem Hines is there now.
Let's be real here. Jalen Tolbert is on his bench. Dude, Jalen Tolbert's not going to be the guy this year.
No.
Straight up. Noah Brown is much better for the Cowboys right now. I think he's receiver 25 in fantasy. And he's actually still on the waivers, too, I'm pretty sure. If anybody wants some. I don't have room on my team for him, but...
Erman should definitely be looking at Naeem Hines on that
Naeem Hines is probably
the
best potential option, or Chuba Hubbard, I think, if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt.
Yeah, I think that's the situation they had with last year, right? And Chuba Hubbard was pretty good last year, right?
Yeah, I think it's a different offense now, though. I don't trust Baker.
I don't trust Baker. I do not trust Baker.
Christian McCaffrey struggled with Baker. I don't want to imagine playing Chuba Hubbard.
If Christian McCaffrey's only averaging 13 points, I don't want to see what happens with Chuba Hubbard.
Derrick Henry had a good game, though. I do want to say that.
I feel like that gives you that little more confidence. With that said, I know you feel a certain way about the Raiders, but they have not been very good this year.
There's a lot of ways I feel about the Raiders. I don't want to go into it that much.
Yeah. a bunch of frauds and whatnot.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, I was very fortunate that Irma's team underperformed, even though his players are really, really good. Like Mahomes, Henry, Tyreek Hill is insane. I was very lucky that he underperformed this week, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Mahomes played so bad against the Colts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know what was going on.
I don't think anybody
Who would have thought the Colts, man? Yeah.
Dude, nobody.
But
no,
that's
Justin
fantasy.
was ready to, give up already on them.
Justin was definitely ready to give up on the Colts.
24-0. Yeah, we can move on.
All right. Do you want to go to our bosses?
Yeah, we got a boss and a McCafrican Americans.
Oh God!
Well, we all said it last week. Allen's team just isn't that good. Just had a.
He was very upset.
Stephon Diggs, I've heard.
He was very upset. We said that.
Yeah, he sent us the Roger meme.
Yeah, I just don't know if we're wrong though.
I honestly don't think we are. I'm not big on Najee Harris. I'm not.
He's very inefficient on a bad offense.
Yeah, and then Miles Sanders in the committee backfield. I don't trust the Eagles backfield. Stephon Diggs got hurt for a little bit, right, during the game?
Yes, but he came back at the last couple plays, so Diggs will be fine.
Yeah, he had 11 targets still. Like, Diggs is chilling. It was the
interesting enough.
Game.
He said in an interview that he's never been so tired in his life, and he had 2 IVs in both arms, and saying he had full body cramps after the game, which was wild.
That is wild. Did you guys see that tweet about with Shannon Sharp on Jerry Jeudy? Man's been running routes all off season but can't catch a pass.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, and he said the thing about.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's another thing I would be worried about too, because Cortland Sutton's still there, and I feel like Russ is definitely trusting him a little more than Jerry.
I'd say.
And of course, it's Russell Wilson. I don't know. This year, he's just not looking as good as what people are making him out to look.
Well, I feel like Russell is known for his deep balls and how good and accurate he is there, and it just hasn't been in the play calls.
It has not been in the play calls. Nathaniel Hackett is not a good coach.
I would be questioning the play calling, and the offense is not putting up crazy numbers either. So,
right. No, you know what? On the bright side, though, Kyle Pitts is finally getting some receptions.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and Breece Hall also. Played pretty good. I think he's out carrying Michael Carter now.
He's definitely very high in receptions for running backs. So that's something to look forward to. Breece should be just getting better and better throughout the season.
Yeah, so I think that actually helps Allen's RB2 situation, just because I never thought he's going to. I still think he's going to have bad flex problems and bad wide receiver 2 problems. I think Tua should be fine when he's not playing with the concussion and not playing the Bills. I mean, the Bills are pretty good defense. So
the Bills are pretty good defense. Matt Milano's still there, even though their secondary and their safety is out. Matt Milano's still there to stop him before he even gets to throw it.
And Tua's got a good schedule coming up too. So plays the Jets and the Vikings and the Bengals.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Allen did take a pretty big hit with Dak going out,
but Tua kind of caught him on that, because he put up that 40 week too.
Yeah.
I think,
and of course he's got. Yeah, and of course he still got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
He probably has the best tandem in the NFL. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean, Justin Herbert has a pretty solid one, but I'd say I'd probably take Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle over.
I would too.
I would definitely take Tyreek Hill. Maybe, I don't know, maybe when Jameson Williams comes back.
Are you talking about Ross St. Brown? I would they're a little more experienced, so I'd still take
That's true. Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
Boston team.
The Boston team. Go ahead, Braxton.
Man, Lamar Jackson. That's the best start for a quarterback in fantasy ever, I think that's what it was.
QB1.
That's always wonderful. Currently. Definitely helping his team out. He's going to need it with DeAndre Swift. There's talks of him maybe being out for his bye week or until his bye week, and I think that's week 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely trying to sit him out for 2 weeks.
But he should be okay. He's still got Josh Jacobs and Melvin Gordon, so I think he could still be okay.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat about Lamar Jackson that if you isolated his passing and his running, he'd be QB5 and RB11. So he's effectively a QB1 and an RB1.
He's like the Christian McCaffrey of quarterbacks. Of old, not right now.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so he's literally like you have a whole extra RB1 on your team.
Yeah.
When you play him.
So I would not want to be playing against him anytime soon.
Yeah, and I think we've said it in the past. The boss has a very strong team, and there's obviously a reason he's 3-0.
Yeah.
He's got pretty good depth on his defense because he's got Josh Jacobs and Melvin Gordon to help support him. People are a little more excited with Elijah Moore with Zach Wilson coming back. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. But he's still got Devontae Adams and Michael Pittman as wide receiver 1 and 2. Boss has probably one of the best teams in the league. At full strength, if not the best team at the moment.
Ramondre also outsnapped Damian Harris, so that's another good sign.
Yeah.
Another problem with the boss's team is half of his team is Raiders, and the same problem the Raiders have with the like the Chargers do, is that they're not aggressive enough. I feel like they're not as aggressive as they used to be. That's why he's not getting as much points out of his players as he should have been. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this past 2 weeks, this week and the week before, week 2 and week 3, his team was practically he got carried by Lamar Jackson. I feel like. Yeah, because all of the other players on his team scored average points, but then you see Lamar with 41, 42.
So 45 last week, 41 this week.
45? I thought it was 42.
No, 45. It might have been a different score in the league.
Yeah, 45.
That could have been in another league because we do we do a point every 20 yards, and other leagues typically do a point every 25.
Yeah, I got you. So Lamar's. He's definitely carrying his team at the moment. And I don't know. The Raiders need to figure something out this week. They need to be more aggressive, I feel like. And if they end up being more aggressive, his team is going to be even nastier than it is.
I mean, if I'm a boss, I'm happy already where I'm at.
Oh, of course. Looking at a boss's team, I would love to see a week whenever Lamar's on his bye where he's starting Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, and the kicker. That would be fun to see.
What happens when the Raiders go on the bye? What's going to happen to the boss's team?
7, 8, 9, 10. They have a week 10 bye, or the Ravens have a week 10 bye. So I'm not sure who gets a boss that week, but probably feeling pretty good.
Ramondre Stevenson is also on bye on week 10, so it could be interesting.
What week is the Raiders bye?
Wow, Lamar's bye week is 10 also.
Oh my 6
God.
All right, who plays a boss week 10? Because that's
what I'm saying. Or week 6. Week 6 probably be nice against him too.
I play him week 10.
Nice. Lucky you.
Yeah, I think that evens out for the week I played Christian. I don't know. I'm really worried about that now, actually. I'm worried about this week, too, because like I said, all my players are not as healthy. But, yeah, overall, boss, you got a really good team, really good depth, very strong team. But the biggest problem is what happens when the Raiders go on a bye, Lamar goes on a bye. What are you going to do?
Or Lamar comes back down to earth.
Exactly.
I don't think he continues to score 40 every week.
No, I don't
think so.
But
even if he scores 20, a boss still would have put up over 100. So
yeah,
in a week where DeAndre Swift, basically left right, which I don't think Ramondre Stevenson's scoring 18 every week either. I think that offense is about to get real bad.
Soon. With Mac Jones out too.
Yeah. We'll play Green Bay next week. That's gonna be rough.
Who's their starting QB? Brian Hoyer? Or is it Bailey Zapp?
It's Brian Hoyer.
I think it's Brian Hoyer.
It could be Bailey Zapp.
I was really excited to see that. I don't know.
On
Bailey
depth chart, it was Brian Hoyer as the 2. So
I got you. Okay. Well, boss, you got a very good team. Congratulations. Oh, another thing. Gerald Everett is in a conversation to be one of the best tight ends this year.
Yeah, but he's got Darren Waller.
Oh, yeah. That's true, too.
Nobody over Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, man. Hey, he's got two of the best what's it called, defenses in the league right now on his team.
Yeah, I'd say Broncos and Packers are both pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty strong defenses.
All right, on to the
very last game, Braxton and Tate.
Very upsetting.
You want to talk us through this, Braxton?
Yeah, I had high hopes. I was coming into Monday night Giants Cowboys. I think I was down 26. Saquon ended up putting around 21 points up on the board. I was relying on Daniel Jones to try to march down the field a little bit, but can't really rely on Daniel Jones for much. I put up another good scoring week, but just got matched up against one of the top two guys in the league once again. All it is just unlucky. My team played okay. I'm starting to be concerned about Russell Wilson, but looking at the waivers, I don't really think there's anybody on there that I'm willing to start because it's not going to be Zach Wilson. It's not going to be someone like Mitch Trubisky. I think I just have to ride with Russell Wilson a little bit longer. He's got a good matchup next week, against the Raiders. But I mean, I feel like all my players are playing well. I've got a solid team. I've got a deep bench, I think, but just unlucky.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the biggest, he scored 115 points. That's not anything to be mad about. I think your biggest flaw is obviously the fact that the Broncos can't put up points, and you also had Jonathan Taylor only put up 10 this week.
Yeah,
which is pretty surprising. I mean, I feel like these last 2 weeks he's been worse than almost any game he had last season. His Colts just haven't been as effective as they were last year. And then, Kareem Hunt is going to always be boom or bust, but he's kind of like your flex play, even though you have Saquon there.
Man's got depth, man.
Yeah. I think, most of your guys are all pretty solid and consistent players. And having a guy who can boom or bust is fine at your flex. Which, not saying you really have much choice in that matter. Looking at the bench, I mean, Chris Olave could potentially end up being a nice choice if he continues to get 13 targets like he did the last 2 weeks. But we'll see how that goes.
Adam, interesting enough, Jonathan Taylor's worst 2 weeks last year were week 2 and 3.
Oh, there you go.
I think he should pop
5
off.
And 7. Other than
I think he'll definitely pop off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing anything with Jonathan Taylor. He's going to stay on my team.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
Nothing's gonna. I'm not making any changes. I don't think.
It's like me with Justin Jefferson. I'll never actually touch him. Yeah. He's sitting in the spot. He's in and he's not moving.
Yeah, the guy with the danger witch. I would say there's a little bit of a problem with the coaching. I think Russell. I don't know if he's the problem. There are some questionable things that he has done,
like the commercial.
This week. No. I'm talking about the. I don't know if it's on him. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's on him or the coach, but they took 30 seconds to take a timeout.
I'd say the commercial was definitely pretty concerning.
Well, yeah, that's pretty concerning too. The danger witch. I don't know what he was.
Yeah. Oh God, very uncomfortable.
I mean, for you, if I were you, Braxton, I wouldn't be too worried. Like you said, you're playing the.
I think I've scored the third highest in the league combined so far, so I can't be mad about that. Both my receivers that I drafted late, I think it was in the 5th and 6th round when I grabbed my receivers, and both of them, but averaging 13 points and 14 points. Don't hate that. A hit on Saquon in the 3rd round.
Yeah, you're Mark Andrews tied in points right now.
Is it 4th?
Yeah.
Gotcha. You're definitely having the problem I had last year, where whoever you're playing against that week, they're popping off. Even if their team is not the best, they're popping off. That's the biggest problem I had last year, and my team was just underperformed last year. And then whoever I was playing against, had a field day on my team.
You actually don't have the most points against you though, even though you're 0-3. Ryan's got the most against him.
Where am I at on the list?
You're 2nd because of that crazy week. I think Ryan's is kind of flexed though because of the crazy week Leo had on him.
Yeah. I had a very crazy week on Ryan, huh?
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at the bright side, if it comes down to tiebreakers in the playoffs, I think it goes by. Does it go by points or does it go by something else?
Division record first. Which is bad for you, 0-2.
That's not wonderful.
You got a really, really good tight end on your team too, and I think he's still going to continue being the number one tight end as long as Lamar stays in space.
Yep.
And like we said earlier, right, with Kyler Murray, Marquise Brown is his go-to at the moment. So we'll see how that will pan out.
Yeah, I've still got a few more weeks before before DeAndre comes back. But then again, I'm kind of thinking that he'll start running more streak routes down the field, kind of like what he's used to, Marquise is, when he played for the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think right now he's kind of running that D-hop route tree where it's mostly like the first down yardage being that security blanket for Kyler. Yeah, so it honestly could, and he won't be guarded by the best corner on the team whenever D-hop comes back. So it could even be better when D-hop comes back.
Yeah, and then with your team, like me, Ryan, Adam, we said this before, and we'll say it again. I'm going to say it again at least. You have depth on your team, and that's a very good thing to have at the moment too.
Yeah. On Tate's team, man, Cordero putting up 21. Didn't love seeing that. Just towards the end of the day on Sunday, it's kind of like a shot in the heart.
Yeah, he had 4 last week.
I do want to say this though. Khalil Herbert got robbed as Player of the Week for the NFC.
Who got it?
Was it Cordero?
Yeah, Cordero got it.
Wow,
garbage.
That's pretty. Yeah.
He outran him by 16 yards and had a whole extra touchdown.
Yeah. And then Christian Kirk, a lot of people were like poking fun of the Jags for paying him so much, And I look at him. He's wide receiver 1 at Jacksonville at the moment.
And also 6 overall right now.
Yeah.
I actually think I actually like Tate's team a lot more than I did early on. I think the Falcons overall are slightly better than I thought they would be. I thought they were going to be like the worst team in the league, honestly. So
I mean, I don't know. The Falcons are still bad. They're bad, but they're putting up some.
They fought well against the Rams.
Yeah.
They lost by 1 score against them. They're not the best. They're not a good team, right? I thought in my mind they were going to be the worst team in the league, straight up. Like they lost. I don't know. They just lost so much, and I was like, they're going to be horrendous. I think they, still can put up decent games.
Someone I'm not sold on his team is Clyde Edwards.
Yeah, I'm not very sold on Clyde either.
He's just not getting the touches.
Yeah.
Like 7 carries, week 8 carries, week 3 7 carries. That's just he's not going to keep on putting up those fantasy points. I don't think.
If I were to place a bet on something, I bet he doesn't play good this week. They play Tampa. And
I don't see it either.
He had 7 carries for 0 yards last week. Oh my gosh. Jesus. I didn't even realize. I thought it was a glitch for a second. I actually remember seeing that earlier.
I'd be a little bit worried about Clyde. Mm-hmm. But if we were a trading league, I'd say trade high quick.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on James Conner?
He was so touchdown reliant last year, and it's looking like he's not getting the touchdown so far. I know he got injured was it week 2? Yeah.
He definitely got injured week 2.
I've never been a big James Conner guy. 2 touchdown reliant. He's inefficient.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I dropped him last year, and then look what happened.
It's a bad drop, and you know it.
It was a very bad drop.
I mean, I wouldn't drop James Conner. I don't think that's the thing. Yeah, he reminds me of Najee Harris, but just not getting as much touches.
Yeah. Tate's also got Mike Evans on his bench right now, who was suspended, and he was playing very well before he got suspended. I think it's worth noting. I guess actually, he had 3 catches or 4, on week 2, but he got suspended at some point. I don't even know. Thinking about
it, if Mike Evans wasn't suspended, he probably wouldn't have started Cordero Patterson in that flex, would he?
No, I don't know.
He would not have.
I don't know if Tate would have started Clyde though. I don't know if you.
Hey, Mike Evans may have put 30 on your head.
He could have. But just a little interesting.
Wait a minute. How is Clyde ranked number 4 overall?
Because he's played good every single week, fantasy wise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He hasn't been bad fantasy at all. But I think the point Brax is making is that how long can actually last when he's getting such few touches.
Yeah.
He's
not going to happen.
He played good against the Chargers, which, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, everybody's running back plays good against the Chargers, which is part of the reason why I thought about benching Justin Jefferson, because Dameon Pierce plays him, and I'm not playing him this week.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Just another tough week. Hoping for my first win next week. I've got to start stringing together some wins. My schedule coming up looks okay.
After you play Christian, you have what?
I play Justin week 6, I think.
So you have Allen, I think. Was it
No,
Allen?
I played Allen last week.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
You have my dad, Ermin, and Justin, and then
I have Ermin, your dad, Justin, and then you.
Yeah, which I don't know. We'll see what state my team is in at that point, but you may have a good shot against us.
Let's hope, man.
Yeah. Well,
starting to get a little worried.
But yeah, I think Tate's team is honestly slight, because I mocked Tate's team at the beginning, if I'm being honest. So to me, Tate's team is actually better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, he won with Jamar putting up 9 points, so.
Yeah. That was pretty tough. Yeah.
All right, so I think that was all the games, right? Do you guys want to go into the predictions now?
Yeah, we got predictions, man.
Okay. What do you have on your list?
First one is mine versus Ermin. I think I'm obviously taking me it's my team. I'm going to take my own team. But we can look at these matchups.
Yeah, let me look at the matchups.
I think Patrick Mahomes versus Tampa could potentially be a tough game. They do a very good job at getting after the quarterback, and I think, that's kind of notorious that any QB playing against pressure is going to have a hard time. With that said, my quarterback plays New Orleans, so that they also are good at creating pressure. So we will see how that goes for me, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think, Leo?
I honestly like Adam's team a little better. Like you said with Tampa, they limit Aaron Rodgers to 18 points. Well, yeah, it's Tampa, like they're good at limiting quarterbacks to a certain low percentage of points. And then is Shaquille Leonard back for the Colts? Do you guys know?
Not sure.
No, I just think I have way better matchups than Ermin does.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I genuinely think
agree
my matchups are just better. So Yeah.
Plus, like, you have two running backs that are currently emerging as like two of the top running backs in the league at the moment.
7 and 8.
Exactly.
We'll see if that's consistent. I don't know if I believe that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Overall, I still think you got a better matchup, so I'm going with you, Adam.
Now, if David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift are both out, I'm definitely picking you, Adam.
Yeah.
But if those guys are in, I think I might lean towards Ermin, because I think Tyreek Hill having a down week, I think he could make something happen.
Tua said he's targeting him if he's in one-on-one.
Yeah, I think he could have a really big game.
Fair enough.
But I do think that DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery are out, and if they are, I'd choose you.
I also got Dameon Pierce playing the Chargers on the bench, so he might pop off. If I end up if one of those two, let's say one of those two guys, have DeAndre Swift or David Montgomery playing, I'm benching them and probably playing. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I might still play Jamal Williams. I think there's no chance DeAndre Swift plays.
Yeah, I do want to say this though. I don't know if Ermin will ever see this video, but there are players on his bench that I would switch out for some of his starting players. But yeah, I don't think he will be watching this.
Who would you switch out?
His tight end. And then I'd probably switch out.
Hasn't Tyler Higbee been pretty good?
Tyler, he's been consistent, but I feel like
who's on his bench?
TJ
Hawkinson.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the matchup
good. I feel like it's almost interchangeable. I don't know. I wouldn't really care which one he plays.
Yeah, they're both good, but the matchup right now is the Rams playing the Niners, and the Niners definitely have the better defense.
Yeah, I would say Seattle's much worse defense. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, we move on.
So who do you got up next? Adam?
We've got Braxton and Christian.
Ooh.
I think there's
is a tough
one big question that we're all gonna.
And it's if Dalvin plays or not.
Yeah.
There's another big question. Is Nathaniel Hackett gonna change his playing style?
Yeah.
I mean, it's week 4. You gotta consider.
Is Jacksonville actually a good defense? We will see.
A lot of question marks on this game.
Yeah, there is. Christian's team has a lot of things we can see. I think you have better matchups than Christian, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and another thing is if Dalvin's not playing, I think I'm playing Alexander Madison over Kareem Hunt this week.
I would.
So, I mean, like I said before, if Russell Wilson turns that around, I don't think I have a hole on my team. To be honest.
Yeah, they're playing Vegas. Honestly, I think you end up. I think you do first one this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think you get your first win this week, so I'm going with you, Rex.
I prefer
them.
Yeah.
I
hate staring down that Jalen Hurts. I hate staring down that Jalen Hurts AJ Brown stack though. That's
Hey, you'll be betting on Jacksonville, man.
Yeah. You have to be betting on them, right?
Let's hope.
Let's see.
I'm projected 121 this week, which I feel like is pretty high.
That's very high. It's because you have a good tight end, though. Anytime someone's got a good tight end, they're always projected so much higher. East of the Middle East versus Houday and the Blowfish. Just look here.
I still like a boss's team. I think. Hopefully.
Can Derek Carr get it done?
Can Derek Carr get it done? Yeah, this is week 4. They have to change something, right? They have to definitely change something.
Oh, it looks like he does have Josh Jacobson this week. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's because of DeAndre Swift.
Denver.
That Denver defense is good. He's got 3 players going up against Denver.
I'm gonna make a bold call. I'm gonna take Tate.
Mm-hmm. He's got 4 players going against
Denver.
Tate.
I'm going for it, even though I think it's the wrong one, but
I kind of like it. I'm gonna be honest. It's matchups, man.
Actually, I don't know. I don't like Tate's matchups that much either.
No, I don't like Tate's. That's why I'm going with the Boss. Because
I don't know. Carolina. James Conner's playing Carolina. You've got Jamar against Miami.
You mean Joe Burrow's
playing Philly? Darius Slay's locked down.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I think that could be a really close game.
Yeah, real could be.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the Boss for this.
I think I'm going to go with Tate too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't love his running backs. I think Denver's defense is pretty good, and he has a lot of guys playing Denver.
Yeah,
is my main thing.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see if the Raiders start being more aggressive this week.
All right, we got Leo and Allen. I don't think I'm even going to have to look at this one, but I will.
No, I think I'm good on this one too.
I'll take a look anyways. I'll give Allen respect.
I'm going with myself.
Actually, here's a big question, though. If Leo's got all these question marks, if a bunch of Leo's players...
That's true.
If Leo's players are all hurt, then I guess I have to go Allen. But Allen also has Tua with a concussion.
Here's the thing with my team. I can tell you right now, Justin Herbert's playing. McCaffrey's playing. Keenan Allen's definitely playing.
Yeah.
Questionable on Amon-Ra St. Brown. For my tight end, I don't know. I don't know if I trust
your tight ends are interchangeable to me, though, I think.
Yeah, I feel like they're interchangeable enough. I'm not too worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alan Lazard, he's definitely playing, but I don't know if he's going to be consistent, though. That's the problem. Either way, I'm going with my team based on that. And, the Chargers are playing Houston, so.
Oh, yeah, they're lighting them up. I mean, I was going to take you anyways, but.
Yeah, I'm taking
clarity on your players.
Alan is definitely going to be pissed when he gets to this part of the podcast.
That's all right. Let him be mad.
Sorry, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, I just think your team. Like, I have a lot of respect for your team, Leo. If I'm being honest, so.
Very flattered. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Where to?
Rockstar Domination versus I Hate Kirk Cousins.
Ooh. Oh, a Collins team, bro.
Yeah, I know.
It's got to be Collins.
It's got to be Collins.
It's got to be Collins. He's got a crazy three-headed running back room right there with Josh Allen on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Unless
Josh Allen playing
Austin
Baltimore,
Eckler.
and that defense is giving up a lot of points.
Yeah.
I think that
unless
game.
Josh Allen.
I bet this is a game where both quarterbacks could end up dropping a lot many yards.
Yeah, I think he's going to hit that 30 mark again pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with Austin Eckler struggles, he's going against Houston, so maybe this is his turnaround game. But man,
yeah, probably
Joe Mixon, James
I would
Robinson,
hope so.
Leonard Fournette.
This could be a real test for James Robinson though, playing Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Terry McLaurin's got to play Dallas, and Dallas has a pretty good pass rush, and so they'll probably be all over Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
But I think you have to take Colin. Dad's team hasn't put up over 100 yet, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go with Collins' team too.
Alright. And then the last matchup should be Ryan and Justin. Wish they were on top of this.
I would go with Ryan, to be honest.
I think I'm going Justin. I think this could be the week that he's turning it around.
You think so?
He's got Alvin and Jalen questionable. If they play, I think that he could sneak by with the win here.
I'm looking.
Let me look at the matchups. Shoot, I don't know, man.
I'm taking Ryan.
I'm taking Ryan. I don't, Tom Brady.
I think it's bold of him to play Chargers defense again. I think it's very bold of him to play him twice. I know they're playing Houston, but they're the 27th ranked defense, and I don't know how much I trust that.
Yeah, that's true. But I still go with Ryan. I think Brady's still missing his weapons, Kamara, I don't know. Harrison Smith is coming back this week for the Minnesota Vikings, so I think their defense is going to be a little better. I don't know if that will play any part in Alvin Kamara, but
I really like Justin's wide receiver matchups this week. Jalen Waddle against the Bengals, and then Gabe Davis against Baltimore.
That's fair.
We saw what the other deep targets for the Dolphins did against the Baltimore Ravens defense. I think that could be Gabe Davis running down the field for those 50-yard touchdowns. But
yeah, that's true. They're trying to lock up Stephon, right?
Yeah, I reckon this game could be pretty close, unless Justin's team, brings some more misery.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Honestly, Justin might not even take his team if we were to ask him how down he's been on them.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. Yeah, but I'm going with Ryan, man. It'll be a close game, but I'll go with Ryan still.
It'd be an interesting one.
Cool.
So is that all, guys? Do we have any closing remarks this week?
I think Ryan wanted to say that he was going to come on the pod, but he was having internet issues. He's not cowering away because his team's 1-2.
No, yeah. I didn't think that was an issue either way, but
yeah, he said he wanted to say on the pod that
So, which game are you guys the most excited to see this week? Like
other
NFL
than my own.
Are you talking about the NFL or are you talking about fantasy?
The NFL.
Probably. Honestly, I like the London games. I like waking up early.
Yeah,
waking
me
up,
too.
turning on the TV, and football's there. So probably, honestly, New Orleans Saints and the Vikings.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the Jacksonville Philly game.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see if Jacksonville is actually a contender or a decent team. And then, of course, I'm going against Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown in that game. So I think that should be a real interesting one for me.
Kansas City, Tampa could be a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
Rams 49ers that's fair. Will be pretty good.
All right. Is that going to be all, guys? No closing remarks, nothing else? All right. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. We'll see you guys back next week. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Braxton, for joining me.
Of course.
Good luck this week. Braxton, I hope you get your first win. Adam, I hope you continue this win streak. And I hope your and I hope your running backs turn out to be, the running backs.
Of course, that's all I'm hoping for.
Well, thank you guys.
Not even good.
Yeah.